On Father's Day 1988, a massive thunderstorm rolled across northern Wisconsin. Lightning struck the roof of a decaying, abandoned estate, not once, but repeatedly. Within hours, the property erupted into flames, burning down to its stone foundations. Those ruins belonged to Summerwind Mansion. For decades, it held the title of the most infamous haunted house in the American Midwest, a place so supposedly terrifying that multiple families fled from it in the night. The legend of Summerwind offers us a rare look at how supernatural folklore can be used to restructure real-world trauma. The estate began as a monument to immense wealth. In 1916, a Chicago politician and corporate executive named Robert Patterson Lamont purchased a prime plot of land on the banks of West Bay Lake. He spent what would be millions today constructing a sprawling, pristine sanctuary. The finished mansion boasted 20 rooms and sprawling outbuildings, offering a quiet escape from city life. It was so lavish that Lamont even hosted sitting U.S. presidents for summer retreats. That idyllic life abruptly ended in the early 1930s. Late one evening, Lamont and his wife were sitting alone in their kitchen, finishing dessert, when they heard a violent rattling coming from the basement door. The heavy wooden door began buckling under the force of something pushing from the other side. When the door finally swung open, Lamont claimed he saw a towering, shadowy entity made of smoke drifting up from the cellar. He grabbed his pistol and fired 2 shots directly into the figure. The bullets passed clean through the apparition and lodged in the doorframe. The Lamonts tacked up their family that very night and never returned. They left all their antique furniture behind, letting the sprawling summer home rot into a financial vacuum waiting for its next victims. The mansion sat largely empty and decaying for 40 years until a newly married couple named Arnold and Ginger Hinshaw bought it in 1969. To them, the massive, dilapidated estate was a bargain, a place to renovate and build a new life with their 4 children. Almost immediately, they reported classic ghost story phenomena. Ginger claims the dimensions of the hallways seemed to stretch and shift. The children heard whispering behind closed doors, and the whole family began seeing unknown shadow figures pacing through the dining room. But the true horror inside Summerwind was entirely physical. Arnold, a previously caring contractor, began to suffer a severe psychological breakdown. He stopped going to work, he stopped speaking to his family, instead wandering the empty rooms staring at things that weren't there. His behavior turned aggressive and highly erratic. He forced the children out into the freezing woods in the middle of the night to search for a lost pet. He let the electricity and heating get shut off due to unpaid bills. The only sound in the house became Arnold pounding erratic, off-kilter notes on a massive organ deep into the night. Huddled around a single fireplace for warmth and terrified of what Arnold might do next, Ginger reached her breaking point. She called her father to rescue them, packing the children into a camper van and leaving Arnold behind in the dark. Ginger's father, Raymond Bova, heard his daughter's stories of ghosts and madness. Yet instead of staying away from the place that broke his family apart, he bought the ruins of Summerwind himself, intending to turn it into a hotel. Raymond began treating the renovation like a paranormal investigation. He measured rooms to see if they were actively changing sizes, and claimed to find the very bullet holes in the basement door from Robert Lamont's encounter decades earlier. He even resorted to hypnotizing his own son, Ray Jr., inside the house. During one session, Ray Jr. allegedly channeled the angry voice of an old man. Raymond then hypnotized himself, claiming to see a hidden 1700s land grant deed belonging to an explorer named Jonathan Carver. All of these hyper-specific details eventually found an audience. In 1979, a book detailing this exact supernatural saga hit the shelves. It was called The Carver Effect, authored by a man named Wolfgang von Bova. Wolfgang was a pen name. Raymond had written the book himself, and when you look closely at the timing of its release, the terrifying ghost story of Summerwind starts looking highly suspicious. 2 years before Raymond published his book, the American public had become obsessed with a cultural juggernaut, the Amityville Horror. It became a massive bestseller, proving there was serious money to be made in supposedly true haunted house narratives. This chart shows the structural overlaps between Amityville and Raymond's book. Both feature a young family moving into a house with a dark history. Both center on a working-class father who suddenly descends into madness, threatening his own family. The parallels keep going. Both books rely on discoveries of hidden rooms in the basement. Both lean on ancient Native American connections to the land to explain the curse. And both end with a terrified family fleeing into the night, leaving all their possessions behind. Raymond had access to a highly marketable location and his daughter's tragic ordeal, and he seemingly mapped the Amityville blueprint straight onto Summerwind to manufacture a profitable urban legend. The hoax doesn't erase what actually happened in that house. The ghosts might have been fabricated for paperback sales, but Arnold Hinshaw's severe mental breakdown, the freezing temperatures, and the terror those 4 children endured were entirely real. By framing Arnold's aggression and the family's poverty as the work of ghosts, the Hinshaws could externalize their struggle. The story provided a narrative for events that were otherwise too painful to name. Adopting the language of a curse shifted the blame from a father's mental collapse to a haunted house. It offered the family a way to discuss their trauma without facing the social stigma attached to domestic instability and severe mental illness. Today, only the stone chimneys of Summerwind Mansion remain standing in the Wisconsin woods. The physical house was destroyed by nature, but the story persists because it offers a paranormal script for the moments when human lives fall apart. Summerwind isn't a story about the undead. It is a record of how we use the supernatural to make sense of the breakdowns we cannot explain.